Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Careers on the Couch. I'm your host Mark Lee, and on this week's episode we focus on online recruitment. In this episode I'll give you a quick insight into online recruitment challenges, and we then talk to Accenture and FDM about their online recruitment practice. We will then feature our student careers advocates who will give you tips for online interviews, and we then show you some of the tools you can access as a student or graduate to improve your online interactions. So grab a cuppa and a seat and let's dive right in. Welcome back. Now I'm going to briefly show you some of the challenges and changes to recruitment in the UK job market. According to statistics collected by graduate careers website Milground, 1.8 million young graduates have already applied for jobs via video in 2020. Email communication is down, while video conferencing has suddenly become the number one form of communication during lockdown for businesses. According to the Institute of Student Employers, nearly 71% of employers have pivoted to just video interviews. And while 81% of students claim to be confident in securing a job via video, not all those who will be looking for work have the advantage of having digital tools or being digitally skilled. The UK government have even announced training classes to help UK job seekers brush up on their online skills. So take advantage of the support that you have available to you at university and ensure your digital skills and online recruitment practice is sufficient. Thank you.
My name is Dan Mayer. I'm a recruitment specialist at Accenture. Accenture is a leading global professional services company, providing a broad range of services in consulting and technology. There are still a few roles that we are recruiting for at Accenture. At the moment, it's not possible for us to hold assessment centres with candidates in person, so we are holding virtual assessment centres online. We use Microsoft Teams to hold virtual assessment centres. What we do is we send candidates calendar invites with links to specific Microsoft Teams sessions. For example, there is a link to attend a Q&A session with current Accenture employees at the start of the assessment centre. Then there is a separate link for the interview and another link for any additional exercises we would like a candidate to complete as part of their assessment centre. So how are virtual assessment centres different from traditional assessment centres? Obviously the main difference is that they take place online rather than in person, but you still get to see your interviewer or assessor as the interviews and exercises are conducted through video. The type of things you would do at a virtual assessment centre are similar to what you do at a traditional assessment centre. There is still an interview and one or two individual exercises, but it's a bit trickier to do a group exercise in the same way as you would at a traditional assessment centre. So at Accenture, we do an online paired exercise rather than a group exercise. Two candidates attend the session, they're given some information to read through and then discuss as a pair. What can students do to perform well at a virtual assessment centre? Use a laptop or device with a working webcam. Try to ensure that other devices in your home are not using the internet to give you the best possible internet connection. If possible, go somewhere quiet at home where you are not interrupted during your assessment centre. Dress and behave like you normally would at a traditional assessment centre. Do your preparation in advance, so research the company and prepare a few questions to ask your interviewer. Try not to panic if there are technical issues during your assessment centre. The interviewers and assessors are aware that there might be technical issues. It's just something that is part of the virtual assessments. So try to relax and just be yourself.
Good afternoon, I'm Zoe Mitten, a University Partnerships Manager for FDM Group. We specialise in recruiting over 1,000 graduates every year from any subject area. And then we train you in one of our tech streams before sending you to work for one of our clients from a broad range of different sectors. So I've got some questions from you that I'm going to answer this afternoon. The first one is about our online recruitment. So we're using that method of recruiting at the moment because we cannot speak to you face to face, obviously. It's just been one element of our process which has moved online, and in fact the CV submission, the telephone interview and the video interview have always been done remotely. We use the Zoom platform, which I think a lot of people are using at the moment, and it just makes it easier for us to work with lots of different students and graduates, and also move them into different rooms for the different functions that we need. So the process works in a very similar way to how it did before. So if you want to apply to us, you submit a CV online, then you have a call with one of our recruiters, and the next stage is a video interview, and then finally you could be invited to an assessment centre. On the day of the assessment centre, as would happen in person, you would attend a welcome talk, have a series of interviews and complete some online tests. So the differences from how we would normally recruit are simple, and it's just that the assessment centre would be held at the FDM offices, which would be either in London, Birmingham, Glasgow or Leeds, and that you would be attending those in person. So thoroughly prepare before you get to the assessment centre, and that means understanding the company that you're applying to. It means completely understanding the role that you're applying for, and also understanding you, your skills, your abilities, and how you can contribute and add value to that company and to that role.
Preparation is key to a successful interview, and first impressions still count even during an online interview, so make sure that you're dressing professionally. Definitely check that all your equipment works prior to your interview, and also consider lighting. You could try positioning 2 warm lights diagonally in front of you or sitting in front of a window with natural light.
Tip number 2, interview questions. There are some common interview questions where you'll most likely get asked, such as why do you want to work for us? What do you know about the organisation, and tell me a bit about yourself. So get your answers prepared, and remember that the interviewer cannot see what is not on the camera. So use the space to your advantage with possible notes and answers that you would like to give despite being nervous. But please always make sure that you are always prepared beforehand. Have a look for more on the webpage shown.
Understand the type of interview. Some employers may ask you to film yourself answering questions and send it in, or others may ask you to speak to a panel of individuals. Interviews can last approximately 30 minutes to an hour, so make sure you have a strong Wi-Fi connection and choose a quiet space.
Tip number 4, creating and designing an online presentation. Prepare in advance and brush upon your presentation skills. You may be required to have a presentation prepared in advance prior to your interview. In that case, make eye contact and smile at appropriate times and talk clearly and positively throughout. Have a good posture, use your voice effectively and concentrate on your core message. You can find some extra tips on the webpage shown.
Be prepared to work in a group. Some assessment centre interviews may ask you to work as part of a team or a group, so perhaps brush upon your group work skills. Remember to be assertive and don't dominate or undermine others. Be polite and friendly. Arrive in good time and don't be afraid to join in discussions. A pro tip is to follow up your interview with a thank you note to the interviewer or employer. This can be emailed to them and makes you more memorable to the interviewer. You can find some examples of what to say just below.
Get support with your interview practice using the interview simulator in Careers Online. Browse the most important interview questions and take a mock interview. Find a selection of the most common questions asked by employers with advice on how to answer them. Questions range from talking about yourself, about the company and the role, your work history and competencies, and your future goals. Make notes that you can save and refer back to later. Build your confidence by practicing your interview technique against the clock, recording your answers as you go. You have the option of a ready-made, pre-built interview, or you can select 8 questions to make your own customised interview. You have the option of recording audio or video. Once you've recorded your video, watch it back to see how you can improve.